buli omu yandibadde akikola.
Yes, wina amaaso n'ekintu bagulaba and the Muslims bakugattako n'okugattako nti naawe agulabye kukubirisi not to create a scandal and confusion. Kakati nganda musajja yasoma.
Nze Tamale awono tugenda tuukawo katono nnyo ku different political parties abazze neyo enkola naye njagala tukubire torch ku njawulo eri Kaluka na Kabbiri 21.
Nti ekibalimu okutegeera election is a process.
True.
Is like a pregnancy, is like education. Yone bwegenda kufulumya ebigezo omwana we abadde tasoma kakati bikukikolebwa kitya abataweerera abaana batatekayo requirements mu musooka ku ssomero. This is a process. Pregnancy mukazi we tomutwalangako ku antenatal clinic tomutwalangako ki ng'ovuma abasawo kakati election is a process. The problem ey'omu Uganda, we don't have politicians.
What do we have?
Opportunists.
Kukozesa abantu nga maddaala kufuna bye baagala.
A politician.
Wow.
There are two types of politicians or political opponents. One is an itching opponent. An itching opponent starts elections the day the earlier one is declared. Atandikirawo okukola.
Akudda ku ground. Okay.
Yero bakalangirira. That is an itching opponent. Raila Odinga tabakiriza kwebaka. We don't have an itching opponent in Uganda.
Ever active.
Tebaliwo. These are assignment politicians who just come as scavengers to reap where they never planted.
Okay.
That's one. Two, what type of political parties do we have? We also have assignment political parties which emerge during elections opportunistically. Nitubeerayo, when you look at NRM, revolutionary political parties zirina ebintu ng'ebyo. One, they don't involve in politicking all of the time. That's why balabanga lutalo. Whenever you have elections, Museveni goes back to Luweero to launch his war. A revolutionary party does not engage in politics.
Buli tugera mukalu adde Luweero he launches a war obaddayo kubabuuzaako. Hawone ekintu ky'abantu beebuuza. Sokole katono nnyo. Abantu beebuuza nti President Museveni naddala bwe yaddayo Luweero yaddayo Nganda. Yalazeeyo kwebaza.
Yagamba this is a war. Revolutionary political parties don't engage in politics all of the time. They consider it as a war. During yebotulaba ab'e Luweero bajja ne balwana. Bwe baamala okulwana ne bagamba nti abaagala amagye muliwa. Many people who fought on Luweero did not want to join the army. Both they were, you have to be recruited into the army. Tewamu bawandiika n'ojja. Waliwo eyali embeera eyamuyingiza amagye nga tagaagala. Second World War. Many of our fathers went back. The Okeros remained in the army. Bo baali bagaagala. Maybe nokuba recruiting nga baava mu magye. Kakati the Revolutionary Political Party yo kyekola okulonda bwe kuggwa National Task Force bagijjawo negenda ng'etubbye ne ssente zaffe n'edduka leediyo tezisasula naki
ekomawo ng'emyaka 5 giyuseewo
ng'abantu are we going to use ye again?
Secretariat bonna basirika.
Yes.
Okay.
Kakati ate eno active political party yebeerawo
ng'ekola ki?
You can have by-elections. Kyobola BNRM bagiwangula mu by-election kubanga after the elections dismantling ebintu byayo byonna negenda utaluwedde kakati mwabadde ku task force muddeyo gye mwava
Mzee Tamale
kuno muddeyo gye mwava
elections
andi nkubuulira nti very big point. You have a democracy which should need politicians but you don't have politicians.
So do we have democracy?
A politician is who gets his money survival by doing political work. Politics comes from a Greek word, politicking. You must be active all the time.
What made it dirty? Politics is a dirty game.
Politics is a dirty game depending on the dirtiness of a particular country. Bibakola buli omu abikola because we have scientific elections and crude rigging, scientific rigging and crude rigging. Kakati where you don't have ti abaana tebasomye mukazi wo tewamututte ku antenatal clinic, what comes next? Onenya basomesa? Ogenda wetunonyeza abasomesa ng'abaana bonna bagudde, wetunonyeza abasawo nti eddwaliro tuliddemu tukuba abasawo ng'abakazi bafuddewo 10 abazaala. If the doctors can explain ti ono yalwayo, they blame you, you take the blame yourself. Kakati ekyokubiri ti bapoliticians ba wano tebatunuulira, kati tubalina tebatunuulira ti is a process. Kakati electoral commission teyina defense. But look, Bannayuganda babasomesa nga bolaba omwana atasoma bitabo n'amanya nti bajja kumubbira. Tabagalinga.
That it doesn't put in anything.
No. Kakati bo bano bajja ne baliducinga buli kintu to money. They don't bother. Nja kukwata ssente ngula obululu.
Politics n'afuuka owakabaasa.
Kati tebasoma.
Tebaddayo ku ground.
Tebaddayo tebakola ki?
Olowooza kuno tebikyuse.
Every war produces its generals.
Labayo muze yitama kuno olowooza tebikyuse. Waliwo generation gyemanyi nti eri desperate for change. Kuno babakubyemu torch.
For the last 7 years I've been engaged in war. Nabano ba mafia abajoza abavuka abajoga abantu. Bali tebanemeddwawo. 6 years ngoli mu. Yes, because I'm an activist. Kakati bo bano opportunist abalowoleza mu ssente. Ye mwana alowoleza mu kumubbira ebigezo tasoma. Nti look, how do we plan elections? Elections in 1980 Obote yabawangula nga n'akalulu tekannaba. Why? Etteeka ly'ebyokulonda lyakolebwanga Muwanga yaliwo. Muwanga n'alonda akakiiko k'ebyokulonda naye nga tekali vetted by anybody. Tekali. Ne bateekamu etteeka mu election gundi ti interparty committee. Interparty committee, it had no binding resolutions. It was just kutuula butuuzi mwogere. None of the resolutions in 1980 that came from the interparty committee tebyakolebwako. Muwanga goes ahead n'ateekawo kye tuyita gerrymandering. Apache North, Apache East, Apache West, Apache North. Ewaabwe gye banaafuna obululu. 17 UPC MPs went through unopposed. Twalina constituency 26 nga bugatta Busoga ne Buganda where DP expected to get votes zalinga constituency 56. Era Semwogere yeti yalowoozaako n'olunaku n'olumu nti basobola omuwangula. So nga statistically bali abasajja baali bamaze okubala 17 MPs nti yatugamba mu 1980 kubali ku Constitutional Square n'atugamba nti Dr. Byamugisha lawyer waffe tumaze omulagira agire banalifying akalulu. The whole of West Nile region kuba bali baseeyo abantu abakikosi maalum gondi the Ombachi massacre tewaliyo kulonda. UPC nominated the people. There was no voting in West Nile. Two, gondi etteeka ly'okulonda teryali clear. Tewaliwo presidential, Obote did not stand as a president. Two, tetwali mu parliamentary. When you analyze the statistics of that election 1980, ojja kukisanga nga DP got more votes than UPC. How could Obote come to power? Tetwali mu parliamentary. Obote never wanted to hear the word prime minister. Kyali kimuzaayo. Kakati ebyo byokka byali bimaze okuba DP ekigo. Even going to elections, ebyo byokka byali bimaze okukola ki?
Ogikuba. But
they continued saying, Semwogere last rally mu 1980 yagikuba kubayita ababiri. N'atuga tusinkane mu State House enkya.
Ng'amanya ayiseemu.
Alinanye airport yajja kulinnya ennyonyi mangu. All of these ones, Muwanga sacked 17 DCs who were supposed to be returning officers on the eve of elections. Ebyo byali bimala. Nti akalubu UPC yali ekoze eki. Era Muwanga mutunuli ono musajja wa electoral commission yabaka Paulo Muwanga. Ti Paulo Muwanga ye yadentinga okulonda ku Obote. Nti olwokuba a group had magid at the DP headquarters nabaga nti mu morning nalaba Dr. Semwogere ne Masiya Singobi bambadde amasuuti malungi accompanied by the British High Commission to Uganda, going to Muwanga to get votes. Nenga mu Kampala Central timwali kulonda.
You have always said Justice Byabakama is denting President Museveni's vote.
Bamukwatirawo. DP used to announce victories toward mobile phones. Kakati bali wangudde batya.
Buli kyogera lwatu bulinaku nti.
Let us look at this election. Election, Mbabazi yagenda mu court. Mbabazi is a smart guy. Yafuna obulu butono nnyo. Naye Mbabazi kye yakola yagenda mu court n'ateekako brave face. The court ruled and gave you, if I had come with my book, 10 commandments. Baba 10 commendations. Why 10? The 10 commandments. Ne baba gamba 2 years before the election, this election, implementing them. Ne bateka over minister bonna aba justice, including my friend Otafiri. Bazikolako. And the opposition was watching. Court directed, in fact, the judges were polite. What they said, unless you implement these 10 recommendations, elections in the future will not be fair.
Free and fair.
Yes. Meaning, nti akalulu kano kemuvuddemu Mbabazi yatta akalulu ka Museveni.
Aka 2016.
Abalamuzi baali baga nti kano kabadde kafu. Naye tetusobola kajjawo. Naye mu future, muteekewo bino bibiri.
What are some of those things?
Okitegeera nti boss Bobi Wine was in parliament. Ab'opposition bonna baagala okwesimba kati I hear them talking noise, talking nonsense. Kansala bamuwa batya ennaku entono simanyi ng'atawuli ayina ekitundu kinene. Where were you? Where were you when these laws were being debated?
But I think it's an abnormal campaign, abnormal election.
When do you complain? May I complain straight away? This is unfair. Because if you had active politicians, they would be monitoring this weather forecast.
I think to a certain point they were right. Because what nominations is presidential candidates, they were nominated. But no local government members of parliament, they were nominating before. Now, yeah, campaigns, they were given about 65 days.
No gamba, never gamba. Creating constituencies. Who creates constituencies in Uganda?
It's the parliament.
The Electoral Commission creates constituencies.
Not the parliament?
Depending on a certain ratio, that 50,000 people must be represented.
So, is it Electoral Commission or Parliament?
Yes, Electoral Commission. Neiche baje kolera bana magezi. Bategi kukulonda. Nominations nachi. After the census. Ati kakati Electoral Commission yegenda okujja nga census ekoze eki. They would work together. The census would correspond.
How come you go in national population census?
You can look for it. Kakati as a result, who created these constituencies? Nankabirwa ngatudde ne kokasi yenale. All of the constituencies, the gerrymandering constituencies, were they created by Electoral Commission?
The 46 of them.
Zebateekawo. Abalamuzi ne baga nti okulonda kwazo kuyita kulinda general election ate ne be contradicting. Who created the constituencies?
Wamate bafuna babaka ba parliament.
N'abaali bagenda okwesimba mu constituencies because they are carving out constituencies, but you have an interest to stand in your constituency. You are not an immigrant that you will go there. It takes me at least 3 years to determine whether you will stand. Kwaba opposition yani ayogera nti who has powers nankabiro yatula ne banne olanya n'alaja na constituency ye bagitememu ne baganda. Do you know the constituencies za Uganda teziri waliwo ayina eggombolola ebbiri
nebera constituency
oli agenda n'alwana ne bamukutulirako.
But bw'otunula ebizibu byonna bigenda maaso mu ggwanga, at one point I'm forced to think nti
mwesiga kukoppa
ng'ovudde ne ku ekyo Muzeyi Tamale tulina constitution erimu amadirisa etali mu madirisa etali mu nzigi etali mu bumonde.
When do you determine nti nja kwesimbawo? Okwera bukezi n'Obama. Is politics for gambling? Is it for gamblers? Politics is not for gamblers.
Anti byayonooneka kati afuuka politics owakabaasa.
Kakati you're telling me government batugamba political power is influence and advantage. The government has advantage and influence. It can order, the opposition can propose. But you look at the opposition. Bobi Wine was in parliament. You can sympathize with these people who are not in parliament. Did he raise any of those issues? Bano Bobi Wine yalina violence, bano balina sente.
Katulabanya anaitawo.
Ati kakati kyenkubuulira, kakati the elections wezibalira. Even at this time of finishing, I can evaluate. One, kyemuyina wano kakati ebibatta biri ebyo naye ate nga byonna mukuba bbali. One, mitigating against the violence. Mitigating against the violence. When you look at the history of Uganda, you will find that's why I criticize these professors of psychology. This is what motivated me to take my 2 children to do psychology. Because our educated people, the professors, don't come to guide the society. A professor of psychology, yali badde yatunulira history ya Uganda, n'atubuulira when did you have a violent election, what creates the violence in the Uganda society.
Antikati Martin Luther King Jr. abyogerako n'agamba the world is suffering not because of the violent people but because of the silent of a few people.
Why did we have violence in 62 at the independence? The British would not accept a DP man to take a power. They made sure that elections were rigged in favor of Milton Obote. Era bw'otulya violence ya 1962, Kabaka yekka, a party that was supposed to be led by the Kabaka, committed a lot of atrocities against the Democratic Party. Why? They could only win, force the DPs into submission by violence. I have a summary which was made by Parliament in 1966, summarizing the violence Kabaka Yeka was meting out to UPC and the DP, because UPC had gone out of the alliance by 1964. Creating arrangement yali egamba nti under the alliance Buganda would be a preserve of Kabaka Yeka. Then the people like Pamulu Muwanga, the Baganda said, if we leave Buganda to Kabaka Yeka, are we going to remain nominated members in order to come to parliament? They opposed the Obote. They were going to UPC Buganda to get a deal to compete with the men. Gendo Rabe Samad. Why? The violence was state-inspired violence. The Kabaka Yeka people killed the people because they knew they were protected.
But you're telling
psychologist in Uganda, they will have 3 times when we have violence. One, state-inspired violence.
But you yogera history about our elections in Uganda. Literally,
why is it that UPC
Katononyo, literally, elections are supposed to mean okuba akalulu, okujaganya, okulonda omuntu ogwoyagala, but this time round, bw'otunya history nga bw'omwogedde, kiri nti akalulu, elections have turned out to be a vigil, maziga na biwoobe. Why?
These are 2 issues. Bw'obanga oli coach, n'oyagala omutabani wo ali mu ttiimu y'abaatemba temugoba. Elections must be between a willing winner and a willing loser. You congratulate yourselves.
But does it happen? Why is it not happening in Uganda?
Side is that the British don't want Ben Chiwanuka, the Democratic Party, baleeta wano n'omusajja nga bamuyita Pierre Bulamu nga mubbi wa bululu purpose to rig elections. The British ne bagamba Ben Chiwanuka nti gwe gavumenti yo tejja kutegeka kulonda. Commonwealth rules don't. Where? Ne baddira ab'Emmengo ne babagamba mutegeka okulonda. The chairman of Buganda Electoral Commission in 1961 was Abu Mayanja, a minister in the Mengo government.
Had the British China influence Mukaru, even up to date?
returning officers bali bami ba kabaka. One of the factions. You have denied the Beni to organize elections, but you are allowing Mengo to organize elections because you want Buganda Baganda Munkaga Mukutevalunda.
Abangereza bachina influence mukalu kabili abili mugumu.
MPs, the British urged that since the Buganda District was going to be elected by universal suffrage, the 21 MPs in Buganda should be elected by the electoral college. Do it now. Abaganda ensambu bakube bakuti
8 days to voting.
Anti nkubulira
abazungu bachina influence
kibi kyokola mupapa nnyo. You want to finish, even if we talk about violence, netumalisa waza febili, it helps the people. Nkugambi, you quite two elements. It shifts from a fair election, it shifts from who wins takes power to a factor, an interest of a certain powerful group. Ukulonda ni kufa au kulonda kuafa. Toga nti abalonzi bebali abasiru. In fact, the law ngabwe nzembagamba, do you know that in 1962 to go to court to challenge elections you had to deposit 40 shillings
ngazachi
ogenda kuwapa mu court nti bakubye obululu mu nkaaga etteka lyali ligamba omala kuteeka yinuswana nga ani azirina because the British pound at that time yali ya siringi 2 era akesiringi 2 twakaitanga ka pound kakati election tezafa bannayuganda bali tebasobola kulonda given freedom Uganda is to vote given circumstances abangereza balina interests zaabwe kane tujja mu kinaana what happened the issue was should Obote come back or not. DP was seen as a shield against Obote's return tewaliwo issue ndala era Kayira yagamba omugenzi Kayira yali namasuba addressing a rally naga nti if we want Obote to be charged for abolishing the kingdoms and demolishing the Rubiri, vote Semogere. Kayira was hunted down by people. He had to free. Obote took charge. Nabaga nti Obote yajja n'emmotoka ze nga ziriko number plate. Uganda wants Obote. UWO. Obote took
Uganda
over.
wants Obote.
Yes.
Wow.
He took over immediately. Why the battle was reduced between a Gundi. Obote akomawo Obata akomawo. The British wanted Obote. Why? Obote in 1980, in spite of what they had done, the Commonwealth Secretariat sent a man called George Kanyehamba to meet DP leaders in Nairobi to talk about the possibility of extending elections. But Semogere looked at it as a burden. UPM was demanding election. Bakubanika katuni mu wikire topic. Nga Semogere ali ku set Obote yayise mu kubo ddala naye Semogere bichupa byonna biri mu luguudo. Semogere could not extend the elections. Why? It was a burden to him. Bali batta aba DP. Akalukali kawedde. Kakati bwe tujja mu 80 nekabeera reduced ku ekyo. Obululu buno bwonna obubaddewo. One of Museveni's achievements is that he was haunted by the past. Museveni nga tabba bululu. For the first time in 1980, the whole of Gundi, Honorable Second Java, Bajita Bukoto. Bukoto had one MP. Send away. One MP in 1980 up to 1989. Never ballot a clear formula, a year 50,000 to be represented in the parliament, clearly, cutting across the whole country. Bukoto Chikirwa Babaka. Batan. 5.
Secondary Bukoto Central.
5. This cut across. Why? NRM wanted democracy at that time. It wanted democracy.
Tamale, you're one of the people who have been in the Ugandan making. Njagalombole, your honest truth. Is Uganda democratic?
Yes.
Like it assumes?
But you see, even democracy, why? The problem is either we win or they lose. Whereas Bafani's Bamungereza, Bakole Fujo, or Bakole Fujo, nga Britain Kubido, Twin Express one. Whatever Congo Express, Bama in Yagalefita GB. Iran's in Bademba Gamba, Miracle Museveni, as basically complains that has been rigged out The Ngandas who have won parliamentary seats go to parliament. Tumuwadalogalo with the whole of villages. Abantu are celebrating. Let me tell you, Ugandans don't mind about the presidency.
I need to ask you this personal question.
Ugandans in a monarchical society where people are used to kings, the question of longevity of a leader doesn't work as long as he delivers. Era abantu bakugamba fenna tunaba president naye bw'otandika okubba obululu bwa MPs, this is where the fire is going to come. Si bwa president.
Where's the difference?
I listen to them. Ate muzimba gw'ekintu. Yesterday I rang somebody. Ne mugamba, you have received 33 million shillings on your phone. True or not? Yes. From where? Ne mubuulira. Ne mugamba nti sente ezo bazikuwadde mugule amasimu amapya mukyuse amasimu amakadde mubbe obulungi kubanga monitoring. Don't waste your time to buy new phone. Sigwe osinga abantu bonna b'enkubi. Mise ina technology w'amaanyi. Muga tugula amasimu sente ziriye. Sente lyandi. Go and make sure that you convince the voters, but don't resort to cheating. The cheaters are not Museveni. In fact, the cheaters are going to spoil Museveni's room. Why? Baagala okuleeta abawagizi baabwe mu parliament to dominate the parliament by all costs.
In whose interest are the members of parliament, not the president?
Anti kakati kankubuulire. Election yeno naye eringa ya 62, eringa ya 80. Why? Nti balowooza this is the last lap of Museveni. Kakati mulimu group ey'abana abavubuka abajozi bennakuba jjo nga bategeka escape routes. Tulina okubeera ekisugu, tulina okukola bajja kubakwatira temujja kudduka. The best you should do, don't mess up with elections. N'ekisugu bajja bakwatirayo.
Are we really going to have a free and fair election?
Kakati make sure ti omubaka wa parliament kansala gwe bawangudde bamuwangula.
Akirize.
But
it doesn't happen. Tekibangawo wano in Africa, not even in Uganda.
Let me tell you, ndaba bukedde. Museveni aleese omukambo mu Kampala. Let me tell you, there is no professional army that can turn against its citizens.
Awo tugenda tuka muzeyi. Nika nkuze wali katono nnyo nga tututa kumboza endala. Katono nnyo muzeyi Tamale. Olwaki omanyi lwaki nkubuuza whether Uganda is democratic. Tuliziganye muzeyi Tamale. Omanyi lwaki nkubuuza wa Uganda is democratic. I have a belief in democracy gwe tuyina akyali ku lupapula. If we call ourselves independent, katono nnyo.
Mumugamba temuyina
tuliziganye.
Nze njirina media freedom.
Tuliziganye.
Because I'm empowered.
Tuliziganye.
Ajjoke emoyo omulenzi bamubeba mwaso omutwe. Yajjangako emwe. Ajijjeko kati bamubere mu hoteli babuwote.
Tuliziganye.
Akabala kali mu UCC kajjeko emu.
Bwe tugamba nti Uganda yafuna independence mu 1962.
You see.
Ne batugamba abazungu nti if you want to attain democracy, you need to have periodic elections.
Trump abadde kuvaako.
Katono nnyo tuliziganye muzeyi Tamale.
Given a chance ku Trump abadde kuvaako.
Tuliziganye katono nnyo. Amawanga gonna aga Africa agafugibwako ensi ez'enjawulo bwe baba obwetwaze buli nsi ya defining a democracy in their own setting.
Nkoleka bulesi kubanga goli mwana muto naye kankubuulire.
Anti
Ghana balya mmere. The Ghanaians have decided that our country must move. The Ghanaians have decided maybe what
because I can see they defined their own setting. They woke up and defined their own setting.
Ghanaians and their leaders have accepted that the country must move.
It started way back Vakululi ya Kwame Nkrumah. Now setting Ghana how they want to govern themselves. Never bwe independence, we never took time to define how we should govern ourselves.
All of the constitutions of Uganda have excellent bills of rights. A Ugandan cannot be in a prison beyond these hours. Have you ever seen a constitution going visiting the prisons to release these people? A constitution remains a document unless the activists who can enforce it. A constitution is a marriage ring. Tewaliwo omuwala wa bukedde yayendera mu lodge nga n'empeta agirina. Empeta yakuba enduulu. So, democracy depends on the leaders. We have decided our country must develop. Whoever nga mujjemu ne anger If I win, if this man wins, I have to go into exile. If this wins, I will not stay here. Museveni does not pursue his enemies. But when we live here, comfortably, elections are here. Museveni does not believe in political assassinations.
Wewa ochali ku STV the sharp katoyongereyo ebibiina byenjawulo omuli FDC omuli NUP omuli NRM National Resistant Movement bavuddeyo ne bagamba nti owaayi bagenda kuteekawo tali centers zaabwe ez'enjawulo. Era wano twebuuza nti aba Electoral Commission kino kibalekawa.
Kyembuuza tiboogerera mu basiru. Let me tell you, is there a provision that if you are not satisfied with your neighbor results, do you mark your exams? And maybe they should waste time debating rubbish.
How rubbish is it?
Yes. No intelligent person can do it. If you don't want the Electoral Commission, you don't trust it, reject it from day one.
Bandi baiti bakitebana mu kulonda.
But this man nze nababuulirawo nembaga nti ayinyo Byabakama was DPP who prosecuted Kizza Besigye on a stupid case. It was just a holding case. Teri lawyer mu nsi neyasoma elementary law asobola okugamba you can charge somebody with rape after 2 years. What are the ingredients of rape? Ne DPP onyekikola oyo Byabakama n'atwala gundi mukulu. Why didn't Besigye protest that this man shouldn't be the chairman of the Electoral Commission? They wanted to use this as a blackmail.
Ebyaddala.
Bamulekawo. Bolowooza nga n'amagezi mutwe nga Katonda bwe yampa amagezi nina logic. Would you expect Besigye to keep quiet if he is a former tormentor becomes a judge in a case where he is involved? I leave the public to judge it. Era abalasha bagera ne bafuna omusajja bamuyitanga Kurt Waldheim. Kurt Waldheim yali ava mu Australia nga yize nazi. Abalasha nga bamumanyi nti nazi is a former nazi man. Yattanga abantu mugundi. Bamuleka n'abeera secretary general wa UN. But every time nga bamubulakamiringa. Until the Americans realize Russia ifuna nnyo mu Security Council name General Assembly. Why? Because of this man. When this man retired and went back to Austria and stand as president, the Austrians rejected him. It was a Nazi. Kakati ffe tukimanyi teeka ne keep quiet nenkuteekawo bwendi nze baali twali tulwanyisa etteeka ly'abamawulire. Etteeka ly'abamawulire nafuna omukisa nga bonna abali ku kakiiko ako maze ba investigating abalina fake papers abalina ki waliwo n'abalina bouncing checks nenzifuna kasa twagenda mu kakiiko ne batuula a man called Gasaatula humiliated us. Humiliated me. I've never seen an arrogant man, but he was a senior foot dropout that a pilot every time he was talking about piloting a plane. Piloting a plane is a driving permit. A pilot is an exaggerated taxi driver. Akati Gasaatula yatugamba, to you people, you are like a bus attendant. But most of our mothers deliver by the assistance of bus attendants, but they are not qualified medical doctors. So, journalists who have experience without academic papers are like bus attendants. I've never been insulted in my life. Blood sagged. Nembagirayo bounce teachings. Do you have the moral authority to talk arrogantly like this? Manye chaddira mu kakiiko.
What happened?
Etteeka baliyimiriza ne bagamba mudde mukole consultation.
Wabaabya.
Me, that's how I fought. Nobody has fought for freedom, media freedom like me. Wali mu Uganda one. I'm not an opportunist.
Nejuzi bali batukuba ng'ogamba okiyita occupation hazard.
Anti nkubuuza nti Media Council eva muki is a product of the 1995 Act. Ani yagiisa wafula ne banne ebakwatiddeyo ebanyweze learn in the future. I fought it ekutte mwenze tenkwa.
Wewa ensonga ya Electoral Commission. I need a clear observation on this.
Electoral Commission, what is its role?
Electoral Commission from time immemorial has been subjected to judgment. Hanga bagamba independence yayo bagitankana. So okuvayo ne bagamba agenda take out independent tally centers.
Is only a woman, a man who is going to marry a woman. Gubata musali ya mwala boba inanabana. So you don't blame. Togama na yate fabagandi yatu ina proverb. Nti gundi na yate yoto munenya. How can a girl know about Itabaruas? Those who have tightened the bones. Kakati wabata yenda angakama nyatia. So you must, that's why the Mugole must go with the Senga. In the case the girl fails, the Senga pays. In normal circumstances, used to be all the women who are not attractive. But these days you change it. Kakati today, are you complaining about the Electoral Commission? Have you read the roles of the Electoral Commission?
Is to conduct a free and fair election. Yes. Its primary
and
reward.
True. Do you know that it's not the final, it's not like a UNEB? Anybody who has agreement goes to court.
Judiciary is the final.
And the court has limited. We have a law that limits the time under which.
How credible is the Electoral Commission?
You cannot kill a hunger man because a hunger man has hanged your criminal father.
Do you know that you don't stick to your words at some point?
Yes.
Juzi wavayo ogamba obakubamu ebituli.
Yes.
They are responsible.
What should we do? Ekyattu omwami nakimanya lwakite wayogera. The time for talking to rectify whatever you are talking about now was there. The law establishing the Electoral Commission was debated by Parliament. The President proposed names which were vetted by Parliament. I don't know that any of their names was rejected. Constituencies were not created by Electoral Commission. They were gerrymandered by Nankabirwa and her team in favor of NRM. This man had even the audacity of crossing from his former constituency to another constituency, a minister. As Bikireno, Kubaba Agamba, there was a young man working in the State House, Nayagala Yesimbewo. Kakati bano abasajja bakulu abo ne batoola Erioda nono gundi ono Kanyomozi yabamuyitani eyali Minister of Finance. Ne bagamba nti omwana tumublocking. In case this young man wins, Museveni is likely to appoint him a minister. Ne baganginga up Erioda naveno nadde ne bakuba omwana. Constituency kabazabu bazikoze. Kakati nze nkugamba I analyze a system, tukita systems analysis in political science. I analyze a system. Kakati as we stand today, the electoral law we are following was enacted, is a new law which merged the old election law and the Heresy Act that was governing, invoked to govern COVID-19. Kakati anyatali yo. Museveni is not Idi Amini who used to decrease. These are people who sit in parliament, debate their laws, and eventually, because people are gullible, are ignorant, you don't blame this election commission as we started today. Constituencies were gerrymandered as your eyes were wide open. Nankabiro nagenda mu caucus ne betera ubundi zabo. Look what the constituencies, some constituencies in a gombola biri and Darazinem, it only appears in the sentence of Abawa.
So literally all these challenges are brought up by the parliament.
This is again Mugundi wa first. I will never work in a government job again. I help society more than when I'm in a government under control. Who can ring my number now? For 7 years nobody has rang my number. Where do I belong? Do you want to be minister? If I'm an advisor, written by your call advisors and whether he sees me attending their meetings, I'm empowered. That's why I'm popular. Nti kakati obuleminga kafero yayimba oluyimba n'agamba nti kati ogenda ganti Satan yakukema. Where did you meet Satan? Don't blame Satan.
So we shouldn't blame Electoral Commission for all these.
Electoral Commission has failed to tell the people, one, by the time we took over, all of these people are novices. The chairman of the Electoral Commission, apart from this incidental political career, gundi mupya ono omukyala yekimuli bakiteekawo because we have to get to accommodate Muslims, then we should have a military council formed of religious people locally and Basiramu and what. Kakati mukasi sayina role. Two, they suffered another blow. The most experienced person on the electoral commission was Lwakojo. Lwakojo was sacked. The most experienced person on the that electoral commission was Talemu, was sacked. And no replacements were made. So nature nacho.
Anyway, you're one of the people.
Why should we have to train our people? Never for experience. I think the rule in the electoral commission would apply to civil service. When you clock the age of retirement, you retire, but don't disband the entire commission. What's the rule? Look at this commission. Mali organized elections under COVID.
True.
South Korea organized elections under COVID. Tanzania organized Burundi. Elections under COVID. Burundi organized. Mwala bakaba sajja electoral commission yabo nga bagendayo to wakawa experience.
By no gendo consult.
Yes. Abaana abawala bwe bagenda okufumbirwa bagendako ku mbaga z'abannaabwe ne balaba gawuni ez'omulembe.
Bwe nkula ng'oyogera bw'otyo olinga agamba there's somebody who is benefiting from this.
Mwenna era waliwo jjaji gwe nsinga okuwa ekitiibwa yawoza omusango, yasala omusango gwa Ziwa ne Naabagesera. Abakazi baali balondera mu electoral college. Kakati Ziwa n'akuŋŋanya abataali ba LC n'abateeka mu electoral college. Naabagesera n'agenda n'awaabo. Omulamuzi yamugamba this confusion would have benefited the two of you. If you had defeated Ziwa would have raised these issues. Why did you seek an injunction in the court to rectify the problem? Yaga Ziwa wangudde. Netufuna omulamuzi omulala Wambuzi was confronted by a case. Dr. Kayiro Mugenzi ne Semwogerere bawaaba mu court to nullify ogamba nti ule yagibwako mu bukyamu. Kibuliza Kirunda raised an issue te Wambuzi aguveemu omusango ali biased. Naye Wambuzi n'agasajja guvaamu. Baasala omusango ne bagamba Lule yagibwako mu bukyamu. But the court does not have powers to reinstate him. Yes, a successful revolution is illegal. Omusajja wambi gavumenti abalamuzi bajja ne bamulayiza. Kakati, when do you complain? I always just say, does it pay a parent to advise his daughter not to move with the bad boys after falling pregnant? Because the pregnant cannot be increased. Tikale, sigala kufeeze nesooka naye tebongerako yakubiri na yakusa. She would be this.
Nega kati muze Tamale, let's speak realistic to get realities. Zino political parties zataddewo talent centers zaabwe. What happens singa electoral commission
they should be raided and put in prison.
Ziri secretive. So what happens singa electoral commission releasing results that are contrary to their results? What happens then?
Me, I'm a realist.
I
believe in realism. I'm not a Katemba man.
You call this Katemba?
Besigye declared himself president of Uganda and
the people's government
ceremony. But the president was told earlier tebayigaba abasajja. Eri Tumwine, Tinyefunza and another group went, they fired the president and installed Mugabe. I remember headline in Nebukede, Chahwa. Museveni said, if he is real Mugabe, let him move as Mugabe. I will arrest him. Did it work? In spite of the fact that these were generals, senior generals, and the fact the president directed the command of Umbalala to go and disperse that function. The command of Umbalala said, I cannot do it because of Tinyefunza and Eri Tumwine, they are my seniors. Museveni said, okay. Addressed a press conference and said, if Tinyefunza and Eri Tumwine really installed your Mugabe, let the Mugabe move. And he said, how can he install the Mugabe in the cemetery? Did it work?
Upon.
Basically comes back because they don't learn from their stupid mistakes. Basically declared himself president. The oath was conducted in a secret place, and he declared a people's government. But
is it working?
Did he get the tools of authority?
Hapana. Anyway, ebule naku ziri munana zokka okubanga electoral commission egenda organizing akalu abiri mugumu ranga wetwogerera eri mu one of the last stages of organizing akalu katonyo tuongere mzee Tamale wetwogerera electoral commission process jeriko yaba abalonzo okwenda okufuna voter slip zabwe wali omivuye gyetoloddawo mu kufuna voter slips ranga mabega kawo electoral commission yagamba nti afuna okuwabwa okuva mu ministry obulamu nga bagamba nti districts 13 temugenda kubeera mu kulonda n'ekibuuzo kyebuzibwa abalonzi
kati ekyo kijja kiddamu
kanzireyeeri wakyagala kuddamu anti akadde
anti nze ne bwe nkola egundi emu I have a daily briefing on my platform a daily briefing those people must be raided and arrested.
But there is a democracy in this
proposal now, my even proposed tough proposal is that even the newspapers should not publish preliminary results. That's rubbish.
Opinion polls.
Because they have been lining up their favorites in the Bukede and other newspapers.
But Mr. Tamachi, one thing you forgot to understand, what is rubbish to you can't be rubbish to everybody. Mr. Tamachi, that is so cold.
Yes. No. And you have a remedy to kitegede. Nti bano ba mafias bawambe popula za muntu bakana gishika no kakulubya. I was reading a story in the Monitor yesterday highlighting those who were killed in the riot. Are we seeing dead people for the first time? Where did the security attack a wedding? Was it a peaceful demonstration? No, a riot. That you see, Vision was talking about Museveni's deployment. Look at the deploying of Akambwe. New Vision, the Monitor was telling us that this can happen because of this. Were they found at a wedding? No. Kakati nama uli kuru tigafuruma.
And you call Uganda a democratic republic.
And we are fighting something dangerous. Yes, and you know, Ogundi, Murutalo, General Sansu Yakoga never persuade a disparate army. These people have no interest, national interest to pursue. Me, Abaganda Baganti, Eliabo Jedwa Musota. My mother survived the lynching. Why? Buganda riots. Let the Monitor tell us how many people died in the Buganda riots. Why do you talk about this recent one?
The list of people that died on the 18th and 19th.
What about those who were killed at Kasubi when Museveni went to after the fire gutting in Macedonia? Yes. What about those? What about those who died at Bulang? So this, you see, Ugandans have been dying in avoidable circumstances. So for me, I even call for tougher measures. What do we get? What the newspaper lose? If that newspaper does not come out the following day, in 1980, we came out, we published a story on falsehoods given it once by the DP people. Tebaina mobile phones by Sawa Manana Varimatadi Sokulangin. A paper ya Fayamuno 1980, Yaino Mutwe, Nti Gund, the UPC leaders to Amos. We had to ban the newspapers. Mwanga yalicha ban. Nti ayogera ku byokulonda fine emitwala 5. Nemyezi mukago ba boss. Even Cardinal Nsubuga did not today. But Mwanga na yali mu panic. Mwanga was trying to solve a problem, but he was not understood. This one we must do it orderly, in an orderly manner. Let all of these newspapers don't come out announcing primarily confusing the people, because they will quote according to the time.
Then what is the essence of having a tally center, a chamber?
Yeah, let us have all of the when the president is addressing a nation, all the 9 o'clock news, these radio stations, according to the law, are supposed to play music, not news. You can read the law that establishes these radio stations and TV stations.
Then there is no democracy.
TV and radio zone, but for never correspondence. We have a limit that anybody aggrieved has you go to court. You go to court. In fact, when you read my book...
So you're calling for a total blackout of coverage?
To protect our country. Nabagamba, nti Saddam Hussein tricked the Americans, Bush. He mounted an artillery piece on top of a bunker that he had used to house children and women.
Mzee Tamale. Necho yogedde ko kitegedde.
Abagundi, American warplanes, niziwoza nti Saddam yekweseemu, niziweereza smart bomb, nejigala omulyango. Many children and women died. And this man, Saddam's trick worked very well. The public opinion in America turned against Bush. Do you know what Bush did? They targeted Al Jazeera. American warplanes targeted Al Jazeera. It had become a war target. They killed even journalists inside Al Jazeera. Who controls Al Jazeera now is in American hands. They know how to protect their country.
Do you know what will happen?
Even if Minister of Information, you
call for total blackout.
I call the newspapers. How much money do you make every day?
No,
I refund the money to protect this country. And they have already told you. No.
But let
me tell you. Do you think if the public wanted to know everything, why is it that a Senga goes with a white bed sheet mu kisenge ky'abagole? Abawestern bo baleetanga kinusu ekirimu ekituli nti muwala wa musimbeerera. Egundi Abaganda suuka n'akabuzi akatono manya nti omwana w'ombeerera. But you don't take the Kidala people inside the bedroom to know whether the function has taken place. The man has stood on the has fulfilled his obligations. When it comes to a country's security, I know. Look, you are exaggerating violence, you are doing what? But you tell me one thing. Have you seen anybody cutting it down somebody's pretensions because he's either the DP, is an opposition or a government opposition? Have you seen violence on the ground? People are moving normally. Ugandans don't resort to violence unless they are incited by their leaders or a foreign country. I always give you an example of one day.
I think you're talking about Ugandans of a different generation
operating at a very short distance. In Uganda, when you see violence, it has been paid for.
Don't you think there is a generation?
The riot, I drove myself from Kampala to my village for the first time, and I did not have escorts. What I saw, they were burning the new tires. Immediately I passed their roadblock at Chengera. Everywhere I was going, they were waving at me. In fact, I remember at Rukaya, I came out of my vehicle and we took selfies with the rioters. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to bring him. When I went to Nyendo, I entered the Nyendo, I found the police exchanging fire with the fire immediately ceased. I drove and we went home and I came back. Kakati kitegeeza the violence, to mitigate against the violence, don't incite violence. Allow the people, especially MPs, those ones, this a short man, a short person, wakoma wakwata. Abantu bano mu byalo mubawe freedom yaabwe. Beeronderwa baayirosizi baabwe, as Museveni has always done. Museveni's election has always been exonerated by the fact that people vote the people they want. But if we want to use the money, I hear them, I watch them. In Otafirezi constituency, man has already arrived. In Rakai, in Chotira Kasolo's constituency, the first amount of money which was sent there was 400 million. This 200 went, and yesterday, 2 days ago, 30 million went on somebody's phone to buy new sets because Miso, they were suspecting that Miso infiltrates there. I told the man, don't waste your 3 million which is on your phone. to buy new telephone sets. I have already infiltrated everywhere. Mr. has infiltrated everywhere. And fortunately, the man had been advised by his financer that Museveni gave that madman sophisticated machines. When you see him talking about you, Museveni has instructed him to expose you. But for us, the big ones, he gives him the information and he keeps them. Kakati ebibi mulimu. Mugenda okuleta violence. Muleka abantu berondere ku level zaabwe bazina amazina gaabwe. Because for me, I don't even see why the president should struggle okuleta abenali mu parliament. Whenever there is a controversial bill, Nankabirwa demands money. Muzeike watugamba. These are political prostitutes. How can I give my wife money whenever I want Yakabozi? So whether you have them too.
From that point, in
politics, there's what we call cohabitation. Cohabitation means that the president can have an oppositionally dominated parliament. We call it habitation. How can these MPs refuse to implement policies that help the peasant? The peasants will rise against them.
Katugende mukumulamu katono naye bwe tukomawo tugenda kukomawo ne okuba torch mu kalulu akagenda okubanka kuba munaku ntono nnyo okuva olunaku olwaliro. Electoral Commission and other stakeholders abakeetoloddemu bo beetegese batya. Jjukira districts 13 temubaddemu kuwa campaign ng'ekibuuzo ekyebuuzibwa abo batakubidde campaign, are they going to make an informed decision or not? Ekyo ekibuuzo kyetukomawo nakyo. For now katukomewo.
Watching STV, select for fun.
Oyagala okusuubula emitala w'amayanja? Ffe aba Tamale Enterprises Uganda Limited tukuyambako okusuubula ebyamaguzi byo, okubitambuza wamu n'okufunira biterekebwa. Tubikusasulira nga bituuse e Mutukula, e Malaba, Busia, ssaako ne Nakawa. Gwe yandyetaaze okusuubula mu nsi nga China ne Dubai, tukiryalinga ebyamaguzi byo nga biyita ku mwalo gw'e Mombasa, ssaako ne Dar es Salaam. Awo nno ne tubituusiza ddala ku mulyango gwo. Ate gwalemereddwa osasula omusolo, teweeraliikirira. Tugukusasulira oluvannyuma n'osasula mu kibanja mpola. Ffe aba Tamale Enterprises Uganda Limited tusangibwa Bugoloobi ku luguudo lwa Portbel olukadde ku kizimbe kya Maria. Okumanya ebisingawo kuba ku ssimu zino wammanga noti 754 25 56 46 oba noti 788 71 28 96.
Erinda nkulu nnyo era omuntu asaanidde okwekuuma n'ebibye. Wano nno Eagle Eye Security and Technologies Limited weeviiriddeyo. Balina buli kika kya CCTV camera, alarm systems, bw'owa ekidduka kyo ng'emmotoka oba pikipiki. Weefunire GPS tracking system okuva mu bakafulu bano. Balina fensi z'amasannyalaze, razor wire ne access control ez'enzigi. Basange Najjanankumbi, Entebbe Road okumpi na Shell Kazi, opposite TNT Supermarket. Bakubire ku 0705 367 732 oba 0789 357 099. Eagle Eye Security and Technologies Limited.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
okwaniriza gwe yakatwegata ku STV the sharp talk naawe atambudde naffe okuva bwe twatandikidde okukoza kya ttendo naddala mu abatugoberera ku Facebook n'abali emitala w'amayanja mwebale nnyo mwebale ddala naawe atulabira wano eno mu nsonda z'eggwanga ez'enjawulo abali mu Eastern mu Central mu Northern wamu ne mu Western mwebale nnyo kubanga mutambula wamu naffe naye nga njagala okukubiriza yenna yandyetaaze okulanga naffe jangu buterevu wano ku offices zaffe ku kizimbe kya Sky Complex e Buziga oba oyagala kulangira mu STV the sharp talk we are very open osobola tukubira ku namba simu 0755428837 oba jangu oyogere ne sales manager buterevu osobola okubanga business yo ogikuba abantu mu maaso bwe tweyongerayo ne sharp talk atugobera ensonga nga bwe zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga naye nga wakati wange namwe tukimanyi ennaku ziri 8 zokka ezibula Uganda ebenga esalawo so mu nnaku 8 ezo zitugezaako okutunulira wamu n'omukuku na Tamale Mirundi atubuulire ye endowooza ye eri ki naddala nga Electoral Commission yavaayo n'efulumya ebiragiro ng'egamba nti yafuna okuwabulwa okuva mu minisitule y'ebyobulamu mu districts 13 abacandidates ab'enjawulo gye batakubye campaign so ekibuuzo kiri nti bano abalonzi bo are they going to make an informed decision or not?
Let me tell you.
And what does it mean?
By now, nabagamba ndi mu Africa, you study society. Chibula bagati apa social scientists batuyambe. It's not like Europe. Do you know what is contained in the book when is manifesto? Walabye kuyani.
Nalabake ya President Museveni.
Wajisomamu.
Nagisoma muko.
Ngeri mubisi. Bibiri ku debate. This election is between abagala consolidating nga sikiwayo wa future ne frustrated youth abagala tebafunyemu.
Two groups zokka ziri mu competition
tinabana abasajja bagezi. When you look at the way they are organizing themselves, the opposition in a hand engezi nnyo tekakati Tumukunde does not campaign for himself. Tumukunde says mulonde change. Why? Tumukunde knows he is now protected as a presidential candidate. Otherwise nabaga nti Bukedde vision yet sobola kuba kifaananyi kya Tumukunde nga bamusibye empingu because it was a humiliating photo. Abasajja abo baatuula ab'opposition ne bategeera nti Mao ajja kututabula ayinza okuba mmolo y'aba is angat ekibiina kye tukisokodde ne bamufuula chairman. Owaki chairman wa gundi owaabwe gundi ne bali baprotesting okukwatibwa kwani Mao ne bamudisaminga. Tumukunde tanoonya kaluluke anoonya future tikakati bwene bwabeerawo the opposition nga weeri bwene yekweka mu opposition and has a number of MPs era nabaga nti Tumukunde wagenda obbakubira yali muyiso omuntu yenna ayina empapula enfu neyesimbawo agenda mu expose nga aveeyo abamanyi kakati bwobatunuulira n'otunuulira nti a person ono omukulu w'ebikonde who had a wealth of knowledge ono gwe basse bategeera nti agenda kuditeketinga wa Museveni bamubattula. What does it mean? Waliwo omulala ajjayo omutwe waliwo omulala agenda okulosinga wa Museveni ng'ono bamubattudde
gatako negundi ono muvubuka Frank Akumbuzi
kakati ono Bobi Wine bwe yamaze okuva ewa Lwanga yalazeewa Omega. What's the significance of Omega? Omega, that man, that pastor, and the pastor Semper fought vigorously against Kayanja's alleged involvement in homosexuality. They lost the case. Kayanja is an entrenched pastor in the State House. This is why when Bujingo meandered into State House to preside over Afende Muhoozi's birthday party to be a chief celebrant, Bukedde yamukuba. Nibagamba n'ekizimbe kye yasabira ekya revenue tikitonya to hit at him. Muti mubitegeera. Kakati Bobi Wine, even if you had the last Minati Ball, linking Bob Wine to homosexuality, nobody will believe it. Why? Has already insulated himself. Has gone into a man who fights Bisiaga, Omega. How, if Bob Wine was receiving money from homosexuals, how could he be hosted? And the man moved a step further. Abirwanyisa.
Wow.
Kakati kitegeeza nti bino byonna nze sigana put you up Gondi instead of working like a fire brigade, ensure that the capital.
Babwana ni amubalira.
Babala bagezi babazi bayine a foreign hand. I suspect say tibabala nnyo akola gundi wano nakola yin.
Nti you're suspecting okubanga ali funded by abali bebisiaga ate against okusabira abali ababirwanyisa.
Before the president takes a route, there is a route command. Tamale gavuga bwata nachi. There must be people stationed. Ne motoka iraba bakaba emo yitawo indanita. That's why motoka yentomedde ne muleka buli simbwa kubanga namujja mu information. Emotoka za president zali ziseewo yali avudde watu mere yange head on. Kagati muntu ki, is it God who created this situation where Museveni met Bobi Wine at Chibuye?
Was it planned?
And if Museveni is not a man who can stomach a provocation, bali ba provocation ne bakuba Bobi Wine amasasi. Ani abikola?
That's a question. It's worth thinking about it.
Before I talk about violence, I must even protect the president's security. It seems they are inside as we see.
So the state is also infiltrated. Is it what you're trying to say?
When I was still in State House, I observed one rule. You don't reveal the whereabouts of the president. At one time, Bukenya incited the president against me. Yali eranda nali nyenye yabasabaze. Kati I was contacted. The bangamba create a diversion, defend this. There's two planes, Luachi Aline Abasabaze. Never creating it as an intelligent man. He was checking the economic class. From now onwards, but Minister never Jagotam. Kenya incited him against me. Why did you reveal my whereabouts before I even boarded the plane? I said, it was security. I even helped you to create a diversion for you. Are you harassing me? Kakati, oh no. Our Bobi Wine, yes, Museveni had it one day. Yasinkana n'abaani n'aba Sebagala ekisubi namuwevingira no namuwevingira naye ekyo was advised to go by helicopter Museveni n'agaana nja kubayitamu kino ekyo ye kyavuddewo
ate nga bakitegera nti Bobi Wine yagenze ku Omega kusaba.
Bobi Wine lwaki yalinze essaawa ezo? Where did the two correspond? Arrived at a particular.
Are you trying to say Bobi Wine and other informers with this?
Ebyo mbibalekera naye nze kembagamba kana kataba nakawandiika dda
naye ati kibuzo kyange tokizzeemu
ekyo nkibalekera akatabo kano kalaba nakawandiika dde
wakawandiika compiled at 5:33 on the 21st of April 2017.
Kana akatabo kangi nnyo nakakaba emirundi mingi
kagamba ki
again
at the crossroads
bagamba nti ekisanja Museveni ejja ekiyisaamu. Whenever we have a problem nga tuli ku crossroad Museveni identifies the right way. Kati nabagamba where Ugandans must take care. One in a page in. Those who have it, who have not bought it, you go to the bookshop, they are there. One of those who are inside the buildings. Nkugamba. After analyzing the above, the question is why the opposition in Uganda has failed to defeat Yoweri Museveni. My observations are based on 3 factors. In almost all African countries where the incumbent have been defeated, there are 3 remarkable factors. Our security, our chi. There are 3 factors that cause trouble in the country. 1, the opposition in Africa is fragmented. In many African countries, political parties rotate around ethnicity, which renders efforts to forge unity against the incumbent impossible. In addition, the opposition lacks money to survive and only resort to being models of the regime. This means that the This means that the incumbent in such a cases as it is in Uganda controls both the party and the opposition. This is how President Moi maintained the power for 24 years in Kenya. However, when Moi picked Uhuru Kenyatta as a political novice, the opposition picked Mwai Kibaki. Now when we wonder all of these years, 2 years to the election, we have had many financial scandals. Nga buli wali sente bagoba omuntu nakalema namukwata ne batwala mu kangalo kooti yaabwe ne bagoba ba nasali ovunaaniro ta nasali mbuyabye ne banne miliyoni 45 mu ministry mu yavedda a woman who presided over a project of $100 million amasanyazi ne bagaba buli they were accumulating money for elections etaka gonta yevo utakali kabanyolo nali tunda lya tatawo tukuze kabanyolo utakali agondi ono musajja ne batunda etaka to raise money because they were obsessed with the money. As they tampered with the service delivery, boba alowooza nti abalunzi bagulibwa mubagule mulabe babaleete ekikumi omulenzi yadduke ne kagulupu ke nkugamba. Another important factor is where the opposition has mobilized the masses against rigged elections. This is where you have the problem.
Mobilizing the masses?
Yes, kasitamunazanyira ku babaka bwa parliament lowa kundi eyo sente zemutambuza ne mwetera sente ku masimu mwabali mu government mubuuzi ow'ekyotero basamugamba kyolina miliyoni 3 ku ssimu yo zivudde wagundi abagambye gula masimu ago mugozi bano tebayeza essimu tebaleeta omukyayina nayeza essimu ngambala nazoza zonna nazanika ku masana enkyasa abakwata. Do you fight a satellite? Kakati, this is where there is a problem. Another important factor is where the opposition has mobilized the masses against rigged election, or where the incumbent refuses to concede defeat, like in the case of Yahya Jammeh in Gambia. Yasooka naga nti nzikiriza neyekyusa kubanga amagezi yali ayina yali ayita omusajja ono agende mu State House bamuttire mu kkuba akalulu kaddemu. The man, because he was under the Senegalese Yahya yakola ensobi Senegal erina oluguudo oluyita mu Gambia ogenda mu territory yayo. This man blocked the road. The Senegalese said no, what type of person are you? Bagezaako n'okukola Senegambia mu biseera bya Sajjawala ne Kirema. So Senegal has an interest there. The moment this Yahya blocked the road, the Senegalese moved in. Katukukuba oveewo ono yaddukira Senegal sije yava. He made a mistake. Kakati nkugamba. The next point, which the third case, is where the army has intervened to remove the incumbent from power. An example is Burkina Faso. In this case, during when the army played a big role and ushered in a new administration, the same was applied in Central African Republic. That's what I tell you. A country that cannot sacrifice its children for all domestic overseas interests is not a country. America rate abajase mitwale nabongeza kasavu. France, that's why the commander of NATO forces must be an American general, the standard weapon. Kakati Rwanda has deployed soldiers in Central Africa.
Talking about deployment, when
the army move in, but our army is composed of highly educated people. Finally, the death factor, unfortunately for the Ugandan opposition, all of the above factors do not and have not applied. Uganda's situation is very unique. I have always compared the Ugandans to a divorcee who has almost seen it all. In the mid-80s and 90s, a political wave of change swept across the African continent, ridding it of single-party dictatorships, with Uganda remained an island. The question is why? Because Uganda's history is quite unique. Ugandans went through the UPC Kabaka Alliance struggles of 60s, the Idi Amin murderous regime that left 1 million Ugandans dead, the military juntas, and finally the NRA. I was experiencing somewhere, until Uganda yawona the revolutions of North Africa. They are coming back in a different way. Mubarak is nowhere. Mubarak is nowhere, Bashir is nowhere. They are following the Nile. That's why I tell you.
Linga gamba kati Nile flowing every kati ekoma wena.
Eri bakozesa muwala wa chapati. A campus student. Eno bakozesa
muyimbi.
Look what the squares. Now I have a lot of time. I look what these people.
Nairo kati flowing ekoma wena.
Mbategera nti beni nalwananga ne musisi ngabantu bagamba nze nina taxi zange. Even that one, if I can protect my property, ate kibakityanga ate mu government mwendi mali yange bajibu. I should have. Oba nina munye 10 oba mmeka nanga akukenzibyeyo. Nafune ettaka.
Soka tule mwakubye mu luseka sikamukasi.
Abantu yakusa yagala dibba nalupo.
Bule mukata kubye mu luseka sikamukyazise.
Ettaka nja kulitundira nalitunda. Ate nali kuza government. Kubanze nafuna amagezi gange nengula ettaka mu middle wa project nga tebasobola kukola project. Auditor General n'ayogera mbosoni na balibe nakola ki mumpita weraka mumpita musiru nalitunde millions za $2 oba mulowooza nti ffe twajja
ngoli musajja mugaza
kwanikira ddala nakubase bagulu naliremera ne bagenda niwa president ndiremera ne bateeka mu akasajja musemenya ennyumba ya staff byamusiyaganga nadduka paka lwegivaamu nentunde ettaka lyange bwerindi temuyinza kunenekamu kakati nakubanga musingambaka nti abaleeta ebizibu gavumenti eringa bundi eringa bodaboda ekivuvumira n'ekikongoli ebikikuba ekibu kakati beribera ani yamukuba ekigu mwana yeyokya because Ugandans are very unique people. That example of boda people banning themselves tetukirabyeko wano kakati ani abikola ani yabijja Tunisia abireetewo
naye sisuubira nti was a staged action. No si bwe kyali Mzee Tamale ebyaddala. Then what happened after?
Akyagaana anti kekano kenkugambye ti Ugandans are very unique people. Ekyokubiri insurance gyetuziresinga obukulu mu Uganda tebamula nti abo abantu bafa monitor ba highlighting. Most of those people are workers. Mu Uganda ffe tuli mu informal sector. Abo abaana bannereega
yezo sente zaalagawa
omulimu gwabwe.
What happened to that compensation money?
I don't have a government job.
Mzee,
but my resistance costs, I derive my resistance costs from doing private work.
What happened to that compensation money?
Kakati nze nkugamba anti Museveni bwe yagamba compensation bokedde nekuba nti baganye ate nekaddamu nekakuba n'olugongo lwako nekakuba nekagamba abaakubwa babuliddwa kubanga balowooza nti Museveni bamukompensate. Oyinza okubanga naye Museveni balooya bamubuulira balooya be ti if you compensate these people are you creating a danger because his initiatives Museveni is a generous man. Baana bwe bati bafe kakati kwalowozeza nti yali kubidde omukyalo oyo w'ebikonde
apana wewa wakati oyongerewo ne STV the sharp talk olunaku olweggulo President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni yabadde ayogerako ne abawagizi be oba voters eside ze ekisoro bamusabye nti owaaye ayina okuta mukaoba okujjako okusonyiwa mu omwana w'obutaka General Kale Kayihura yali adumira polisi yensi yatu Uganda kati n'omukulembeze w'eggwanga yavuddeyo n'agamba nti agenda kwogerako ne kooti y'amagye okulaba nga badroppinga all charges against Kale Kayihura. Wano wenjagala okubuuliza omukuku na Joseph Tamale Mirundi kino kitegeeza ki does it mean Kayihura akomawo active service oba eno target ya kuwangula Kalungu?
Nakugamba nti abo abasajja tebamanyi Museveni waabakubira. Many people don't understand Museveni. Museveni never fight personal battles. When any general oba omuntu yenna amukwasa kooti ye. That's why he finds the problem of the dealing with the police. Police in a police marshal, in a disciplinary committee. Tinyefunza first a court marshal. Oh no, tumukunde yamala egindi banga. I used to tell him tibaja kusibanga takkiriza. Banze nalira ni mu 201. Ngira yakala for president.
Hey, ambition yavadda. Okay.
We had planned for 2016.
Yaja 2016.
Bankwata nange bankwata. Yena we met afterwards after ngali egundi emyaka mingi ne muganda nange libakwata bwe yali agenda okubesimba okubwa me he called me we had a meeting muganda wa nawe oduse loza ekireri kiri we met in Fanga Pajita Batye, Nyanganga, Twinanga.
Fangotera when Nakasero.
Nampa Nekadola, to what we now we walk his
Okay.
Kagati. It about how many 20 Museveni does not panic in elections. If you expect Museveni to panic in elections, from mind.
Nekano that can contain
Saba Sajja Kabaka yakwata ekisumuluzo kya Besigye n'agenda egindi mu katale ke wa Kiseka bwakitunulako bwakizeena bwakitaluddawa. What did Museveni do? Museveni summoned the parliament to enact a law to protect our traditional leaders at the peak of an election. Abantu bonna mukama watu si mukama wakozeeki nabaga no, we don't have this law. Tuyinza okufuna ekizibu ku bakulembeze baffe. Let us protect it. Era sekandi omusajja w'amaanyi sekandi came back, convened the parliament, neyiseteekera ne queen yalina etteeka erimufuga. It was an omission. The traditional leader saying kyafuliwa. Mukula, who was shouting himself hoarse, to Museveni amuwalana kubanga ayagala kwesimbawo. When Mukula had the problems, ne bamusiba mu kkomera. Who helped Museveni and how? Mukula yali takimanyi, oli yamukubira essimu n'amugamba nti first lady's office, not first lady, baali balina first lady yalina charity ye nga bagiyita batya.
Charity ya first lady Angela Bideri.
Ne bakubira Mukula essimu. Mukula bamugambye wejja okudiringanga ne office ya first lady fetu muti bamulimba. Kakati Mukula kozi ye bamutezi. Sajja omuntu yakuba essimu mu State House. Naga nti twagalayo miliyoni 2.4. First lady's charity eyagalayo miliyoni 2.4 okulwanyisa gundi siriimu. Mukula abagenda zitwala essimu nevuga bali basharinga office n'omuntu naye was from State House, can you get this man? Namumubulira namugamba you want me in the State House? Yes. Now ti kyava mugamba nti sente ziri ze babadde baagala mu State House nze kanzitwale ndaba gyendaga. Mukula never bothered to ask whether the money reached the facility good. Ne musanga boosting. I had put Mukula to see the president. Ne mugamba Mukula, the MP for Ruhama should go to the doco first. Against the president ampayiriza. Mirundi afuma Kayanji. Nze nabagamba president Museveni tawagira Rushiaka. Therefore, Wakayanga mukwano kwa Museveni ubani. Ngabo balowooza Kayanja aranga mi at midnight. Ne mugasijja kuyamba. Since I got the president akuwagira. Museveni tawagira Rushiaka. You can't detain anybody but not me. He was a tough man. Kagati Mukula bamu alowooza nti first lady yatwala sente tezatuuka miliyoni 5 kati Mukula bamukwata bamuteeka mu kkomera bamwite gundi eyo temukyajjogera
zezo sente zebamukwata za malaria
yakola operation n'alumba bamukula abo bamukwezi nayiwa ne banoonya Mukula Meja Jeno Mukwezi ne bamunoonya mu Sugar Bowl emifaliso gyonna Mukamuwezi n'agamba you feel a tough man why don't you can't fight Kayigulanga mukama we amulagidde ayya Kayigula was a committed man.
Everyone talks about that.
I don't know how he blundered.
So does Museveni give a second chance?
Nti Museveni yeche yakola kyali eki yakwata sente naziwa baloya abatali benaale mpanga
and company advocates
bamugamba abeyo nga bagamba namugandi Mukula ali mukomera tumuyambite chairman wenaale. Mukula was saved by Mpanga because if Mukula had appealed the judgment would have been maintained because when you appeal you don't bring fresh evidence but a review Mukula applied for a review Mpanga yali mugezi ne office ya first lady ne fulumia tisente feze twafuna even in denominations wetano bwali bwebute nga Mukula tiyazi
ngati ya wayo
Mukula was saved through court. Museveni wound
sente zogera kuzali za malaria zetuulira.
Yes kujja wange biri mu maaso yafuna kwalo ne wakapabolo Museveni ne bidandisa. The president as usual was taking a slow move on whether we go to multi-party or not. Kakati bawakapabolo ne bagamba this man can retire. Let us form a political party. ne bakola amagezi ne basaba ssente tiza mobilization biri maaso n'aziwamba kati biri maaso waziwamba koza ayina akapapula nga wakababulo awandiise when you get that money buy a car for my wife biri maaso yali bwambega n'akatereka kakati wene biri mu maaso was sold to Akit sente ne beekataneka koza mutale era biri maaso was seen ng'ava mu helicopter agenda e Kasese for mobilization the money baaliwandika mobilization bawakapolo baali baagala zitandika ekibiina kakati singi president biri maaso abawaabire ne bamublockinga kakati biri maaso ne bamukwata instead of dragging him to the party disciplinary committee bamutwala mu kooti biri maaso ne bamuwa ekibonerezo kya myaka eki good mobilize titajja kuddamu kwesembawo mulotabitude but how did Museveni save him? He pardoned him from serving a sentence. Yejirinda process nego. A president can help you, can pardon you not to serve a sentence, but Museveni does not interfere in the process.
Kachogamba
kakati ne Kayihura bano ab'ekisolo gundi bwe yagenda yo ani Bobi Wine ti Museveni musabe Kayihura ye yali alowooza Museveni does not get votes through proxies. Museveni does not believe in tribal kingpins. Museveni can go to Busoga and get votes without Kadaga. Museveni can come
to 1996.
Museveni can go to and get Buganda
votes. 2001.
Muchinana, betwaka mu 96, Buganda declared nti Semogere yesolo kande. Tetwaba putula. Nitukaddamu. Mulikanaga nti ono gwe tulonze besi natwala najolo ne makazi ngaga nti kabaka tasala nviiri
ku mulembe guno President Museveni akyalina amaanyi okugenda yeka nakuba campaign nga tekuliko
ate kati eno mmengo nfunyo kano ke kalu akasinga okubeera fair akalu ka Uganda omutalitse amakuti abagakwese mbuli ewali ssente wonna we babbira ssente eza covid ez'enzige zijje ziyambe mu kaluwo n'amanyiwo waliwo omukyala nnaku eziyadde afulumiza amakutiya abaana ne bamukwata ate teyabategedde onabeba nini mubikuta byante sumulula nga ekutiya nnya abaana nabo bakamaliddeawo baligaggawala
that I don't believe in it. President Museveni
get sort of votes without even if Kayihura is in prison.
Ati lwaki abantu bamusabyeko Kayihura after Bobi Wine okuba bikula amaaso lwaki bamusabye Kayihura
Museveni kyakukola kati guti oyo tumulaba si ewakoti maaso guti tasibwangako nerakala so if you presided over court maaso because Museveni has not resorted to monkey tricks. If you were a soldier, he takes you to the court martial. Kayihura is before court martial is senior army officer. Kayihura akoze emirimu emeka. Tumukunde ye Museveni akubuulira nti when is the case against the military takuyamba fight yowawo in fact civilian ate abamwangu nnyo nti civilian amutwala mu civilian court. Era olwalaba bwolaba omujaasi baagadde omuyamba ngaaliwo omujaasi bwe baga bamanipulatinga ne bamutwala mu civilian court bamuvunaana mu madi. When it comes to the military council, you are finished. The court martial
kati ekyatwalibwa Justin Juko Mugundi military court
anti kakati bo bagenda ne bakola ensobi era nakiwakanya the failure to handle issues. If you find a fake priest conman anyaga abantu nga yambala ebyabafaaza omutwala lubaga for discipline. If you see a conman using, because the army says anybody found using any item where we have a monopoly, you have recruited yourself into the army. No. You are diluting the prestige of the army. Toyinza kudya civilian mubbi wankoko n'omutwala mu court martial. Look what the American court martial. Not every lawyer can go to a court martial. American court martial is for celebrated lawyers to preserve the nti baterrorists babatutte mu court martial y'omu America. Bush had to create prisons in Eastern Europe ng'amanyi nti amateeka ge gali soft until Twin Tower n'ateekawo inland intelligence okumonitalingira wali ne tough rules America ne bakkiriza babajjeko eddembe lyabwe. Kakati Wembley yali irigo naye teyasolovinga musango. A Philippine, this man has created a Wembley which is illegal. bwotta omuyaga notta omubbi ogenda ne ku ofisi ya RDC ne bakuwa sente ez'okutta n'ez'okuziika. Why? This man took a lot to parliament, insulated them against the future prosecution.
So what do you think is going to happen to General Kaihura?
He'll finish his
tunamulaba nga akomyewo mu service.
But to say nti Museveni can be black and married, how many votes are in Kisoro? And what's the future precedent? If everybody who comes to Mbagamba, nti betuteekawo president, nti Bobi Wine takwata bawe another person because he is popular. Will you deal with the pastors?
Hapana.
Abayiwa abantu, Serwadda ayiwa abantu ku Namboole. Nze nina program ewa Serwadda. Kiyinza obatwalira emyezi 6 nga basumulula amabaasa abantu bebajja babasabire. Half a year. Kakati ayiwa abantu mu kibuga. Ensi nejjula.
Emyezi 6 basumulula amabaasa.
Abantu emyezi mukyovula bazimba gamba. Titutunuliranga ekintu n'ogamba. Nti nze amu stupid akkiriza mu wikikulafu. Siri stupid, I'm highly intelligent. I've evaluated into being cholera. Instead of using an expensive lawyer, what I use very little. And if people fear me. Kakati gutolowooza nti bajja Kayihura bajja muta bajja kubeera soft during the election. You are creating a very dangerous precedent. In American history, waliwo omusajja muyita General MacArthur. General MacArthur bamukuba Philippines naddaga we shall return. Yaleeta olutalo lwa Korea. General MacArthur yalagira bakuba olutalo alwagala. Ekyasavinga America, they had developed paratroopers who fight behind the enemy lines. But China was pumping millions of soldiers on a daily basis. So in 1954 an armistice was made. Now yet the question arose, should we charge MacArthur? Yes, the then president of the United States said the buck stops at me. If we don't charge MacArthur, we shall have created a very dangerous president for American armed forces.
Akade nakono katutwaliriza nga nsibira tukumetutuuse wenyini wetulina okubanga tuviira mu ssaawa zino.
Ennyondo yange gye ntambula nayo tekubabaate. Museveni bamugamba nti omusajja alina ennyondo alina asidi. Nze Kayihura yampa permission okutambula n'asidi.
Ennyondo tekuzitowerera.
Naye yabaga nti gwe mumuleke agibattuleko omuntu omu nja mupanishinga n'okusinga kitatta.
Mzee Tamale ene mwebale nnyo ddala okubeera naffe era mwebale kutambula ddala nga bwe twatandise program. Ensonga nnyingi nnyo ze tuba tulina okuba nga twogerako naye ng'obwakadde tetusobodde kuba nga tuzimaliriza. Mzee Tamale,
the non-criminals fear the heavy dismemberment of soldiers.
Ekyo tuba tulina okwogerako naye akadde mune tekatukkiriza tulina okuba nga tuva wano eno Mzee Tamale. Atana musango tatya musirikale. So bannayuganda balina okubeera okay with the deployment eri mu kibuga. Wakati wange tukimanyi nti ekibuga kiri partition kyabakikubyemu ebibanja. Mulimu ekya Major Muhanga, mulimu ekya Muhoozi, mulimu ne Major General Paul Okech. So kati tulabe okulonda bwe kunaabeera 2014 January ennaku ziri 8 zokka ezibulayo.
Instead of using foreigners like in the Central African Republic,
Mzee Tamale katuvewa.
Let us have our own people to provide security. These are the products of the revolution.
Wow. Tugenda kubanga tusukkawo mubadde balayi balungi. Amanya nze Simon Chris Makanga naye nga tulina programs endala eziddako kuddako sports updates. Johnny ne Marjorie weebali olwedde okubanga bagenda kukuwa ebyo ebigenda okuva mu kisika ebyemizannyo. Producer nge Husna Affe tebale kubanga tutambudde ffenna. Jeff webale kubeera mu byuma. Don the drone wabadde ku kamera. Mubeere bulungi paka olwokubya oluddako mweraba.
Yabaga nti buleka
ebirowoozo by'owulidde mu pulogulaamu eno si bya STV, abakozi baayo oba n'abagiddukanya, wabula bya muntu ssekinnoomu. STV erungamizibwa ekitongole kya Uganda Communications Commission.
are hiring. The station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex, located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.